You ready for it, Renee? You ready for it to be done?
Ready for it to be done.
Renee is on a business trip, which means the prep has fallen on me mostly for this trip. We've got all the food except for nuts laid out, and we've got 7 dinners, 30 snacks each, 30 bars, 7 lunches, 7 breakfasts, and then there's also 1 electrolyte drink pack per day. So this is quite a feast we're gonna have on this trip, but it should taste pretty good. I'm looking forward to it, and we don't know if we'll make it the whole way. We're gonna try to go lowest to highest. As of now, there's a chance of 5 feet of snow on Mount Whitney. So if Whitney gets 5 feet of snow, we're gonna go lowest to a little ways up Whitney. Maybe we can reverse the trip and go highest to lowest. We'll see, but I'm looking forward to it. Day after tomorrow, Renee's gonna land in Bakersfield, California, and I'm gonna drive from the San Francisco Bay Area to Bakersfield to pick her up. From Bakersfield, we will drive around to Lone Pine, California, and then hitchhike from there to Death Valley, where the trip starts. So that's the plan. We got the food ready. Next, I'm gonna pack all the gear, and I really hope I don't forget anything, because that's something I tend to do, and then we'll have a less than ideal trip. We just laid out all the gear for our lowest to highest trek, and it's a little different than usual. These are waterproof shoes, which we never use, but we are probably gonna be walking in snow. We've got heavier sleeping bags than usual, more coats than usual. It's gonna be below freezing plenty of nights. Bringing a tripod, that's kind of fancy. This is the layout, a lot of water capacity, and we might have to cache water also, because even though it's winter, Death Valley is the desert. We are headed to the grocery store to do our final shop. We need what? Hand sanitizer and toothpaste.
And some jugs of water to cache.
True. And then we're ready. We're about to hit the trail. One of the hardest parts about this route is getting to the start. So we are now in our car. We're gonna park it here for the week, and we have to hitchhike 2.5 hours into Death Valley. So we are calling an Uber. Maybe we can get one, and we'll take that part way to where we cache some water, and then we'll hitchhike from there on, because a 2.5 hour hitch or Uber, that would be kind of pricey. But a half-hour Uber for 50 bucks, we can do that, and then we're out of this town, done with the harder parts of the hitch, getting through some turns, and we will then hitchhike into Death Valley and hope we can start. Nothing easy about this, especially in the rain, but it's worth it, wouldn't you say?
We'll find out.
We'll find out. Uber failed us. There's no rides coming to pick us up, so we're gonna hitchhike. In the rain for 2.5 hours. Fun. We're on the edge of Lone Pine, starting our hitchhike to Death Valley National Park. This is 2.5 hours by car, and it's gonna take a little while. They didn't get us. Oh well, we'll get one. We have arrived at Badwater Basin. We just got a ride with a very nice family from San Jose. Thank you, Hannah and MJ. Wow, that was their first time picking up hitchhikers, and they rode with us for 2.5 hours. We rode with them for 2.5 hours. Pretty cool. You ready for this?
Yes.
You got a little ways across the salt to go. That's not snow, that is salt. there's our home for the night.
Well, that's a wrap on day one on the lowest to highest route. We got a little bit later start. Okay, a lot later start than we wanted to. I was exhausted, so I slept in a bit. But yeah, we packed up all of our gear and food in the hotel. Then got to hitchhiking. We got a ride 1.6 miles out of Lone Pine, and then a awesome family, MJ and Hannah and their kids, picked us up and took us 2.5 hours all the way into Badwater Basin. They were going to Furnace Creek, so it was an extra 17 miles times 2 for them. And we stopped along the way to cache water in one place and drop off a resupply at Panamint Springs General Store.
And then we got to Badwater Basin, and finally at what time? Like 4:30 p.m. we got to walking. And that was great. It's very strange. The salt looks like snow. It's just like a giant salt field that looks like a snow field. And it was easy walking, totally flat for a long time until around mile 3 or 4. It actually became soft, and we were post-holing, which means we were just sinking in to what we thought, well, I mean, what was salt, but what was acting more like snow with mud underneath. And we got our shoes all sorts of wet, but fortunately we had Gore-Tex shoes that stayed dry on the inside, even though they were totally wet and muddy on the outside. That was kind of hard walking, but we made it over to the other side of the salt flats, and we are now about to eat dinner camped at the base of Telescope Peak, which is a really big mountain that we climb first thing tomorrow.
A fun day. Glad to be out on the trail in our tent right now.
Absolutely, really fun day. We've been climbing all morning, and now we have a stinking descent before we just climb some more. The trail, it takes you where it wants. It's lunch break on day 2. We're sitting here eating Renee's pumpkin chili mac and cheese. This stuff is good. Can you hold this? I gotta eat. How'd you come up with it? We're just wrapping up lunch, and we're about to start climbing off trail straight up Telescope Peak, which is 11,000 feet. I don't think we have to go all the way to the top, but it's just gonna be up, up, up. So this will be a lot of fun. We came 3,000 feet up this wash, and now we are headed up 6,000 to 8,000 more to the top of Telescope Peak. Now we're off trail, just going up the mountain. We just made it up the steepest part of this climb, and now we have about 4 more miles to climb 5,000 feet of elevation to get to the ridge by Telescope Peak. This was a big climb already. You can see the salt flats way behind me. Wow, this is exciting, but we really hope we make it before sunset because we see snow on the slope ahead. We don't really want to be walking on snow in the dark. It is officially sunset. We still have about a mile to the top of this climb. So we'll see if we keep going in the dark or if we decide to camp short of the top, and that would be nice too. You ready for it, Renee? You ready for it to be done?
Ready for it to be done.
This was our campsite last night. It is really cold, so we forgot to film setting up and taking down the tent, but it's right on the side of Telescope Peak, and we have a 1 mile, 2,000 foot climb to complete right now. So in just a minute, we'll be going up, up, up. We are partway up Telescope Peak, and we're in a cloud. It's cold and hot at the same time. Renee just took off her raincoat because her core is cold, but I don't know, my hands are cold. Yeah. Core's hot, hands are cold. But you know, it's like 3/4 of a mile up. We're gonna make it. It's just not an easy hike. Whew. I made it to the top of maybe the hardest climb I've done. It took us 2 days. Renee's right behind. Coming up. You excited?
Very excited.
Yeah, and we walked into winter. It was a little different down in Death Valley, but we got snow and ice and clouds. We start descending from here and it'll get nice and hot once again. Woo! Going downhill. How you feeling about that?
Oh, that was fucking insane. Mine is 200 some feet to almost 10,000 feet, mostly without trails.
Almost entirely without trails. But we made it up.
We made it. It was fucking cool and fucking insane.
Fucking insane.
We came from down there, the salt flats, and then up that second ridge, all the way up the slope.
That was hard.
That was really hard.
We should be moving, but we're here feasting on pine nuts instead. We're right beneath some pinyon pines. These are the trees they come from. They taste so good. This is maybe the best part about hiking in Death Valley or in this part of the desert. You just collect pine nuts off the ground, break them open, and feast. Oh. We just walked past a bunch of huge charcoal kilns, and it turns out they were used for mining. They made charcoal to be used to make silver, and they're from 1877, and they're still standing and looking like they're in pretty good shape. That was pretty neat.
Well, the Sierras are looking snow covered.
We're enjoying the last of the daylight, and we will be walking well into the dark to get some miles in, because in wintertime there's not much daylight. How are you enjoying your night hike?
Good.
Gotta get the miles in.
Yes, easy trail now.
This is where we're going to set up camp tonight. It's flat, it's a little rocky, but we'll clean them out of the way. Oh, I'm tired. So the way we cook our meals is we dehydrate everything at home and assemble Ziploc bags full of food with a ready-to-go meal. Just add water. Then we add water and food to the pot. Boil it for 1 to 2 minutes. 1 minute for a rice dish, 2 minutes for a noodle dish, and then turn off the heat and cover it and let it sit for 10. And we have all the portions just right so that after the sitting process, after the 10 minutes of sitting, all the water is absorbed, there's no draining necessary, and it's time to eat. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
We get to sleep in a little to celebrate the holiday and to celebrate that you're a little sicky. If you're curious, this is how we put up videos on the trail. Is we spend more time in the tent in the morning than we should editing videos, but it's a good excuse not to walk. Enjoy slow mornings with coffee and more coffee and more coffee and a little bit of editing. Day 4, it's 7:27 and we are hitting the trail, and it is a beautiful sunrise behind Renee. We're going that away.
We're just walking a Jeep road, an old Jeep road, old road of some sort, headed into our next resupply point at Panamint Springs. It's a gorgeous day.
Break time. That's good. Yeah. This is one of the cooler parts of the trip so far. We are just in a flat sand nothing in all directions. Mountains in the distance, sand around us. It's caked hard and pretty easy to walk on. It is cool. You needed some gaiters.
Yeah.
We made it. Time to resupply. We just had an amazing experience at Panamint Springs Resort. It's Thanksgiving, and they were doing Thanksgiving dinner, and it was just donate whatever you feel like, and all you can eat Thanksgiving buffet. So that was cool. We ate a bunch and drank a bunch of coffee, and what else do we have? Coke. That was good. And then we picked up our resupply that we had left there, and we unfortunately had a 48-mile water carry to carry for, but we bumped into some hikers who have done the PCT, and they said they're going up the road in the same direction as us, and we were able to leave 2 gallons with them, and they're gonna cache them along the road and save us a 48-mile water carry. We still have really heavy packs with a lot of water, but nothing crazy. So thank you very much, fellow hikers. You ready to face this climb? It actually looks quite a bit less intense in daylight.
Good.
Let's get it done. We just did a heck of a climb. Now I'm sitting here at a temporary top. Keeps going, but temporary top, waiting for Renee. She's just a little ways back. It's just empty and beautiful. Like, I love this. We're up at 5,000 feet, approximately the top of this beast of a climb we just did off trail, and we can see the Sierras in the distance and Joshua trees all around. Sierras are covered in snow. This is really cool. Pasta salad. There's a lot of pasta salad. That is a lot of color. That's good. Renee always tells me not to walk around barefoot. I learned why. Those are all cactus thorns. Oh. Oh.
After 9 miles cross country, it feels nice to be on a dirt road.
So far it's been a challenging but pretty exciting day. We started off going straight off trail and just cross country for how many miles?
About 9 miles.
9 miles cross country and a lot of climbing, and it's just empty out here. We've hit 5,000 feet and we could see the Sierras in the distance. Totally snow-capped. I'm not sure how we're going to climb Whitney, but we'll deal with that problem when we get there.
On the climb up, there's no trail, but we came across some animal trails that we saw what we decided had to be donkey tracks. It was like a small horse track with lots of horse poop, but small. And we thought that was kind of crazy. It was convenient following their trails.
They built really good trails, almost like human trails sometimes, but not quite.
Yeah. And they came and went, but yeah, and then we heard some noises that really sounded like donkeys off in the distance. And eventually we spotted a herd of donkeys.
Yeah, a bunch. Like, I counted, do you remember, was it 20 of them? Or there were 6 and a bunch more, maybe 10 to 20. That was cool.
It was cool.
And then we hit a road. As you can see now, we're on a gravel road and just walking this for quite a few miles and kind of enjoying the break, even if it's not as pretty.
Yeah.
The sun is setting, but we are pushing on for 4 more miles to, I don't know, get some miles under our belts.
I see it. Water. Oh.
No way, is that beer?
And some beer.
They left us beers, thank
Wow,
you.
thank you. That's
Oh,
awesome.
nice.
Wow. Oh, but I got cactus in there.
Trail magic. Thank you. If you ever see this, thank you. It's day 6. We woke up and it was cold. And we had a pretty lazy morning in the tent as we warmed up. I was working on editing a video that we got posted, and just kind of took it easy as the sun rose. And now we are out here on a completely empty gravel road, surrounded by Joshua trees, in the middle of nowhere. I can't figure out how I was able to post that video up because we have cell service. There's no signs of civilization, but there must be a cell tower somewhere giving us service. Right now we're descending. Soon we'll start ascending up to Cerro Gordo Ghost Ranch, which is going to be a weird place that we're excited to see.
I think this last, I don't know, 20 miles have had more Joshua trees than Joshua Tree National Park.
I think so.
Maybe? I don't know.
And it's been so open with these big mountains around us. This is really a cool part of Death Valley National Park. About 10 miles in on the day, at a low point on the trail before we start climbing up to Cerro Gordo Ghost Ranch, which should be kind of cool. And I'm just starting a cold soak so we can eat this when we get up there. Cold soaking is when we cook without heat. So basically this is dehydrated food that's going to soak up water well because it's all pre-cooked before we dehydrated it. This is Mexican rice and peppers, and put in a little too much water. So that's just going to soak up the water, and by the time an hour goes by and we're at the Ghost Ranch, that'll be ready for us to eat and enjoy. So stay tuned. We've been surrounded by mostly Joshua trees for the last 2 days, but now we're climbing. And as we get up higher, we're seeing fewer and fewer Joshua trees and more pinyon pines. It's really neat to see the plants change as the elevation and climate zone changes too. We finally finished that climb. We can see the Sierras across the valley and Owens Lake down below. Wow. You think the view's gonna get better around this bend?
You talking to me?
Yeah, I said, do you think this view's gonna get better around the bend?
Yes.
Here we go. Is that Whitney? Looks like a bit of a climb. Oh, the whole thing is gorgeous.
Wow.
Post cold soak, this is the finished product with a view. That looks good. That really looks good. Wow. We are currently hiking on a trail, which is exciting because other than a little bit on Telescope Peak, this path so far, this route has been all either cross country or road. But right now it's a trail for hikers, and it's a very nice one at that. We've got the Sierras over to our side and we're walking along the edges of some mountains. Having fun, Grill?
Yeah. There's just a weird abandoned building on the side of the trail. No way to access it other than this trail.
Yeah, not even a road coming here.
Very strange.
Sun just set over the Sierras and it's gonna start getting dark, but we're gonna push on into the night because we want to set ourselves up well for what's looking like an ascent of Whitney, or at least part way up Whitney on Monday. Today's Saturday. We're gonna do a big day tomorrow, position well for it, and then see how high up Whitney we can get before the snow gets crazy. Thought it would be looking worse. It looks like it's looking doable, so Monday should be a fun day. How is it?
Good.
Yeah, it's feeling I'm hungry. Hard day. Hello from day 7. It is pretty nice weather. It warmed up overnight and we are now descending to the town of Lone Pine, which is where we start our climb up to the Sierras. We can see them. They are right there. We've been telling you that for a few days, but they're snow covered and right now cloud covered. So we're definitely going to stop at the ranger station when we get our Whitney permit and find out the conditions. But it's looking like we might be able to do it as long as these clouds lift, or, you know.
Not part of it, at least.
Yeah. Looks like we'll be able to do at least part of the climb up Whitney. If we're lucky, the whole thing.
We are up at about 9,000 feet. We were way down there before, somewhere. And we're headed down again and then maybe back up into the Sierras.
We've got a heck of a view of Owens Lake out there, which we're really curious about. It looks like it's full of salt, but we can't figure why that would be a salty basin right here. So we're gonna look it up post-trip.
Going to get our Whitney permits.
All done in Lone Pine. This was a 2-hour, pretty efficient resupply stop before we head up Mount Whitney. Good morning. It's our last day on the trail and we are gonna climb at least partway up Whitney, starting in just a few minutes. We're camped at the base of the mountains in Lone Pine Campground and it is beautiful behind our tent, so really excited to start going up. We're all packed up to start day 8. Let's go.
6,500 feet, and we hit our first little patch of snow kind of on the trail.
We're having a ramen break at Whitney Portal. It's gotten kind of snowy, but it's beautiful. We see Whitney above us. And the hot ramen is nice in the cold. We made it to 9,200 feet and the snow's getting deep. Therefore, we're moving slow and don't really have enough food to see if we can make it all the way to the top. So we've turned around. We're gonna head into town, pick up a lot more food, some snow gear, and then come back and see if we can summit. Let's go. You look dead.
Stuff is heavy and we're going up.
How are you feeling for tomorrow?
Excited.
What time are we starting?
Hopefully at 5 before sunrise.
It's an hour and a half before sunrise. That'll be good.
Yeah.
Maximize our daylight, get up the mountain. What gear do we pick up?
Damn, we brought a poop shovel, but we
but we can't
can't
poop.
use it because we have to poop in these bags.
That was kind of, well, maybe we'll dig something. Dig a hole for our tent. All right, show
With
me,
this tiny little shovel.
show me the new gear.
You can see it right here. I'm not bringing it in the tent. Ice axe, snowshoes, crampons.
Nice. All right, let's do this.
Feet.
10,000 feet. We're at about 10,700 feet and we've been following somebody else's snowshoe tracks up to here, but they just turned around. So we are gonna be the first ones of the season going above this point. We got a little less than 4,000 feet to go and we just got our snowshoes on. How do they feel?
Good, I guess. There's my legs.
It's 11,000 feet and the sun just came out. We're in our tent looking out at the beautiful Sierras. Oh. Yesterday we climbed up to 13,700 feet. We did the Whitney chute. We went up it and the snow was soft and kind of deep, so we were really sinking our feet in to get traction, and that was cold. We got up and had some cold toes. We decided at 3:30 we'd just camp right here and decide in the morning if we'd push on for the summit. We've got another 800 feet to go, 2 miles, or if we'd turn around. We haven't quite decided yet. It's beautiful, but it's cold. The elevation's hitting a little bit, and so we have to decide, but here comes the view. this is where we're gonna call it. We're at 13,700 feet. Trail got a little sketchy, and we've actually walked from right here to the summit previously, several years ago when we did the PCT. So this is enough, and better safe than sorry. Holy crap, it's beautiful. How do you feel, Renee?
Ready to be down.
Yeah.
Only 2 miles to go, but that's okay.
We are glissading down this on our butts. Long way down. Holy crap. I'm gonna see if I can film it. Ready? Okay. Nice work. Took us about 2 hours to get up that, and we just glissaded down in 9 minutes. Not bad.
We're just taking a break in the sun, warming up our feet. Turns out trail running shoes are not the best shoes for mountaineering type stuff. Our shoes got full of snow on the glissade down, and our feet were freezing and we couldn't feel them. So we're bringing them back to life and
enjoying the sun for a minute. We haven't had much of that.
Yeah.
But it's cold. Pulled out a sleeping bag. This should be the end of where we use crampons. And just snowshoes from here going down. You excited?
Yes.
No more need for traction, just snow. We are done with the technical stuff. Snowshoeing 5-ish miles back to Whitney Portal. Now it's just time. And cold, still some very cold feet. But soon we'll be in the heated car with heated seats. Looking forward to that. And we saved ourselves Skittles for the final approach to the car. that's a wrap. Lowest to highest is complete-ish.
High-ish.
High-ish. We made it to 13,700 feet, which was good enough. It felt good and high and cold, and we were happy to come down, happy to be back on a road going towards civilization. But what a wonderful trip. Thanks for following along.